take you through a little brief summary of what PYP is. For those of you who are new and for those of y'all who are old, just quick recap about PYP. Basically, PYP is designed for students of age 3 to 12 years of age, and it doesn't focus entirely on knowledge, but there are other very important elements that is touch based upon, like it includes conceptual understanding, which is very crucial. We also inculcate skills in the students, and we encourage them to take action for their learning so that they are not only successful students, but when they go out in the future, they're able to lead a successful and well-equipped life. Basically, PYP is an inquiry-based model methodology where the child investigates different means, like, for example, conducting experiments or asking questions and conducting surveys or inquiring through net, reading books and finding out. These are going for a field trip, of course, not in the pandemic, but otherwise, when they are back in school, we take them for a field trip, we invite people from the community. So these are some of the ways where they will inquire, they will find out, and they will gain knowledge. So it's not restricted to one particular textbook, but there are varied sources of information that we explore, and that helps the students to deepen their understanding. And secondly, very important, it is a transdisciplinary approach. Now, what do you mean by a transdisciplinary approach? When I talk about transdisciplinary approach, if I'm doing a unit in science or social studies, it does not end with my science or social studies class. The same understanding, the same conceptual understanding is then transferred in PE, in art, in English, in languages, in math. So, it's not, because obviously when you go out in the world, you don't say, okay, now I'm doing social studies. And then you move on and you do something and you say, okay, I'm only doing math. When you go to the market, you're doing social studies because you decide what is healthy, not healthy. You're including math. There are a lot of concepts that you include simultaneously. So why should teaching and learning be restricted and compartmentalized to one subject? Therefore, it's more of a transdisciplinary approach. The PYP provides a very strong foundation for children to become successful and lifelong learners. Now, we believe not only for students, but teachers in PYP are also lifelong learners. We continuously update ourselves. We are learning, we are undergoing a lot of professional development so that we are not left behind and we can meet the needs of the 21st century learners. Now, PYP also helps students to develop socially and emotionally. It makes them independent and they take responsibility for their own learning. When I talk about taking responsibility for their own learning, this is only possible if students have some say, or if they are given a voice and choice in what they have to learn and how they have to learn. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not having any curriculum. I don't know what to teach, and I just ask the students, okay, tell me what do you want to learn today, and I teach that. No. We have a skeleton, but then if students are interested and they want to go further in what we are teaching, they can do that self-inquiry. They can choose their path of learning. So that is having a voice and a choice. We ask the students, what do you think is the best strategy to do the assessment for this concept? Or would you like to, which graphic organizer would you like to do to show your understanding? Or how would you like to show your understanding? Do you want to draw? Do you want to create a presentation? Do you want to write a poem? So whatever skill that they are good at, they can express themselves in that. So there is varied ways, and very important we cater to the differentiation. And let parents, I request you not to let this be restricted only to the school. Giving a voice and choice to the student is very important at home as well. So when the children are at home, you can develop that confidence in them by asking them what they feel is important and support their decisions. For example, if it's something very small, something like going out for a dinner, where would you like to go out for dinner? What do you want to eat today? What do I cook today? Okay, so small things like these: which game do you want to play today, which book do you want to read today? So these kind of things, if you ask the students and you give into the, if they are reasonable, as long as they are reasonable. If they're not reasonable, you explain to them why you are not doing what they're asking you to do. How would your decision be better than theirs? You have to justify. You can't enforce things just because I have said that you have to do that. So reason out with them. Tell them why you don't think that's a responsible action. So please do encourage voice and choice at home as well. PYP also helps students to become international mindedness. So when we are, we have a 10 learner profile attributes, dispositions that we develop in the students. I will take you through them in more detail later. And this will help the students be more international minded and help them to adapt to any environment, and they can be good citizens anywhere in the world. The PYP also will help students to understand the world better and to function effectively in the world. So they will be good citizens when they develop all these dispositions. They will be able to stand up in the society and be able to help create a better world. They will also develop attitudes and dispositions for learning. So your skills and conceptual understandings are vehicles that will help the students to deepen and broaden their understanding of their knowledge. They will take sustainable action. So whenever they've learned something, they will learn to apply that to the world to ensure that the world becomes a better place and it's more sustainable to live in. So I strongly believe that just learning is not helpful. When learning is translated into suitable action, only then can you say that learning has been successful. And also, last but not the least, we help students to develop additional language. For example, we offer Urdu, a choice between Urdu and Hindi. We have Telugu, that's mandatory. So these are some of the languages that we offer in PYP to the students. Now let me take you through the IB continuum. Now the IB has got a very strong mission statement, and the learner profiles with the teachers will make you understand. And there are certain guidelines given by IB, which are called the program standards and practices, that they expect all IB schools to follow. Now, to start with, we have to, all PYP schools have to undergo one step. First, they are in the candidate phase, where we apply to the IB that we would like to take up the IB program. Then after about 2 to 3 years, they visit, they go through, the sit-in classes, they talk to parents, students, teachers, they visit and interact with the students, and then they check all the evidences. And after they find that we've met most of the standards and practices, then we get an authorization. Once we are authorized, 4 years after that, we have to undergo another process, which is a little of the higher level, which is called the evaluation. And Alhamdulillah, Focus School has just successfully completed its evaluation last year, and we've got a report which is very promising. We've got a lot of commendations and appreciation for some of the things that we've done. And there are certain things that we need to work on and improve. That's the whole purpose of this evaluation, so that they give us some next plan of action towards which we need to work on and enhance teaching and learning. So we've got a few recommendations, and every school gets that. So we are now design our program development plan to work towards that recommendation. Now, if you look at this timeline, the first program that was started in PYP was in the year 1968, which was a diploma program, the DP, which is catering to students of grade 11, after 10th, grade 11 and 12. That's a DP. Unfortunately, we do not offer the DP at Focus School currently. The next program that came into action was in the year 1994, which is the MYP, the middle year program. And this caters to students between 11 and 15 years of age, that is class 6 to class 10. And we are currently in the candidate phase. Focus School has taken up MYP, and we are in the candidacy phase. and we will be having our authorization that is scheduled sometime late this year. So that is MYP, and PYP, which started in the year 1997, is running full-fledged, alhamdulillah, very successfully at Focus School. The primary year program, which starts from early years and goes up till grade 5. But this year we've discontinued and we do not have PYP for grades early years. We start from grade 1. For the simple reason is that because most of our students are first generation, they have English as an additional language. So the problem we realized was that students were not very comfortable in reading and writing, and therefore inquiry was not very effective. So we thought that during the early years, we will focus on the language skills of the students. We will strengthen that so that when they come up in grade 1, they can successfully take on the inquiry. So it is aligned to PYP, but we have not put it in that bracket anymore. And the last program, the recent program that's come up in IB is the CP, which is a career-related program, which was started in 2012, and this is again for 11th and 12th, but we do not offer this either. After the timeline of the PYP, the next very important thing that parents need to understand, for the new parents, it's going to be a walkthrough to the PYP, and for the old, again, it's a recap. And I request and I encourage parents to use this vocabulary with their children repeatedly so that it's ingrained and drilled in them as well. And it's kind of a follow-up of what has happened in the school. So I will quickly take you through all the essential elements of PYP. These are main criteria, the pillars of the PYP. And what you are seeing on your screen now is the program, the PYP program model, where if you look at it carefully, right in the center, we have the learner, and everything that we do in school is focused on the learner. It's for the benefit of the learner. Any teaching, any activity, any assessment that we are doing, it's all catering and focusing on the learner. So it's a very student-centered program. Okay, it's not like the traditional program where the teacher is teaching and the children are passively listening as we are doing now. I'm sorry, with a large audience, I cannot make it more interactive, and especially in this scenario. But ideally, it's a very student-centered program. The teacher is only acting as a facilitator and not the sage on the stage. Can parents please mute themselves so that it's not disturbing to others? I request all parents to mute, please. Thank you. Yes, so after that, if you see, we have different approaches to learning and teaching. We use various strategies to make the teaching and learning effective. The approaches to learning are the skills that I said earlier also, are the vehicles to deepen and strengthen the students' learning. And we follow different teaching methodology, that is hands-on teaching, teaching through play, using different visible thinking routines, experiment, field trips. So we use varied strategies to give students an exposure and cater to their needs. The very important thing, like I mentioned earlier, also is agency and action, giving students a voice and choice. And action, like I said earlier, is a very, very crucial component of PYP. And then we have the exhibition, if you see in the second innermost circle. The exhibition is the culmination of the PYP, which happens in grade 5, where students take ownership, entire ownership. They identify what they want to learn, how they want to learn, and what are the actions that they will be able to take. Okay, so that's what the exhibition is. And then finally, you will see some of the subjects that are taught. So we've got social studies and science, which forms a unit of inquiry, the UOI as we say. We've also got math, art, physical, social, and personal education, which is the PSPE, and we've got the languages. And ICT, computers is all inbuilt in all the subjects. Now, if you see the second last circle, the second last outermost circle, it has the 6 themes. So all classes in PYP, right from grade 1 to grade 6, will be catering to these 6 themes. And under each of the themes, different grade levels will have different units placed that will help the students, and it's going to be spiraled up. So, for example, in grade 1, if I'm doing all about me under the theme of who we are, then in grade 5, we take the students to the next level. Sorry, 1 minute. In grade 5, they are deepening their understanding and they're going to study about the human body. So that's how it is spiraling up. All grades cover all the 6 themes, and each of the themes lasts for 6 weeks. This is the learner profile attribute that I was talking about. We've got these 10 learner profile attributes that we try to inculcate and develop in the students in order to make them international minded. Now, this is not a standalone subject like you have the moral science subject that we are doing. It's all inbuilt in our regular teaching and learning. Okay. For example, if I am doing a unit on health and well-being, where students learn about having the right food, avoiding junk food, so they're going to be learning how to be balanced in their life. Or if I'm doing a unit on media in grade 4, they will be developing the communication skills and they will be able to express themselves through different media forms. So it's all inbuilt in our teaching and learning. It's not something that we take up as a standalone. And these are some of the vocabularies that you will have to keep using with the children, and it's very, very important. That you by and by the teachers will take you through each of them separately and assign different activities to develop these learner profile attributes. The next, like I just said, we've got these 6 themes, the transdisciplinary themes that are spread over the year, and each of them lasts for about 6 weeks. There will be some themes that will be year long. For example, grade 1 has a unit on celebration. So your celebration will not end after 6 weeks. It's something that happens throughout the year. So it's going to be a year-long unit. Or grade 2 has a unit on organization. So organization does not end in 6 weeks. The children have to learn different organization techniques and how to be organized in varied ways. And that again goes on for the entire year. So that will happen simultaneously with other units. The approaches to learning, or the very common abbreviation that we use in PYP, is the ATL. And these are the 5 ATL skills that students will be developing. So when they are presenting and when they are sharing their presentations, they will be developing the communication skills. When they are doing a unit on organization, like I said, they will be developing the self-management skill, which would include time management and organization skills. If they are working in groups, they will be developing the social skills and develop how to collaborate and have positive relationship with the peers. When they're applying their knowledge, they will be developing thinking skills, and when they're inquiring, they will be developing their research skills. And like I said earlier, it's not something that they do in isolation, but it's all inbuilt in the program. And the next important element is the concepts. We've got these 7 concepts that help to deepen their understanding. For example, if I am doing form as a concept in the different states of matter, so what is it like? What is solid like? What is liquid like? What is gaseous like? So that is form. So the same concept of form is applied also in Urdu and Hindi. So what are the different forms of adjectives, or what are the different forms of verbs? So they're going to learn that in English and Hindi and UI. Or what are the different forms of numbers? Or what are the different forms of fraction that we have? We have the like fraction, we have the unlike fraction. So these concepts are used for integration and for authentic integration. It's not like any forced integration. Okay? And last but not the least, as I said, action is very important, and there are different levels of action. We've got the participation, the advocacy, social justice, social entrepreneurship, and lifestyle choices. For example, again, if you are doing a unit, if the students are doing a unit on health and well being, they will be making lifestyle choices and they will decide what they should be eating and what they should not be eating. Or if they are doing, let's say, a unit on water, they might join a rally which is for water conservation, and they might get into the participation. Okay, or if they are doing a unit on child right, they will get into social justice, and if they happen to see people who are, having students, children of who are supposed to go to school but they are working, then they might just go up and speak to them and take some action, and that would be social justice. So these are the different levels of action that we have in PYP. Sorry, I think I jumped. Okay. And the next very important part, that was all the written curriculum. And now we've got the assessment curriculum. Ms. Amina Farad will now take you through what assessment is and how does it look like at Focus School. Thank you very much. Ms. Amina, you can take over.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm class 2 TL assessment. Assessment is, ma'am, can you change the slide?
Yeah.
Assessment is more than grades. Assessment is a mechanism for providing instructor with data for improving their teaching method and for guiding and motivating students. Assessment will help the teacher to try the different strategies. It will help the teachers to guide the students and motivate. It will not only it will help the teachers to try the different if the students are not clear with the topic, so the assessment the teacher will help them. Ma'am, please. The
Yes, sorry.
teacher will try different strategies to help the students to understand the topic well, and it will teacher will help them and guide them to and motivate them to actively involve in their learning. Assessment is feedback for both instructors and students. Assessment is feedback for both teacher as well as the students. Assessment gives feedback not only at the end of the course, but throughout the course. When we are taking a formative assessment, it is an ongoing assessment, and it will help the teachers to and students to give the feedback. It will help students to check their learning, and it drives students. It will help the students to improve their learning, and teacher will uh, try to take the different strategies if the students are not clear with the topic. Assessment drives students learning. Assessment drives student learning means it gives students the idea of what is important to learn in the subject. It will help the student to reach the goals. So here, if we use assessment method that are not only factual and knowledge based, we might be providing superficial learning. So in order to avoid this, we need to set our course goals. So these goals are the primary reason why do we assessment. Why do we do assessment? So why we do the assessment? To reach our learning objectives. So, can you change? So we have three different types of assessment: pre-assessment, formative assessment, and summative assessment. Pre-assessment is something we always take before we starting the unit, or before we start the academic year, to check the students' knowledge, where the students are, which how much they know about the topic, how much they know about the previous class. So it is in the form of a screening, it is in the form of a pre-assessment, or it is in the pre-test or diagnostic, KWL, inventories and observations, and concept maps, questioning, this type of pre-assessment. And we have a formative assessment. Formative assessment, which is always a ongoing assessment. We always take in between the topic, we will check the students understanding, are the students are able to understand the topic or not. It is in the form of quiz, it is in the form of we will check the uh, checking for understanding, and it is in the
Sorry.
observations and anecdotal notes, exit slip, data form, guided practice. So it is a formative assessment. Then we have a final assessment, which is a summative assessment, which will be end of the course, which will be take in the form of a final performance, and it will be in the form of exam and test. Next one. So here are the different strategies we use to take the formative assessment. Assessment strategies help in evaluating students' learning and also provide different options to assess students to meet the learning objectives. It will, as we have online classes, so we use mostly quizzes, this Flipgrid and Google Forms, but we are also giving a writing assessment also at the end of the each term. So we will take different strategies to assess the students. We have journal and portfolios. Yeah, we have the assessment tools here. Assessment tools will help the students to reach the learning objectives. Before the assessment, teacher will share the rubric, which will help the students uh, to uh, to plan the assessment effectively, and he or she will be aware what he has to do in the assessment. He has to be before, if the teacher has shared the rubric, so the students is aware about the topic and criteria, and he and she will be the able to reach the teacher expectation. So we have different tools for assessment, like student exemplar, rubric, and anecdotal records and checklist. Next. So we have reporting system. We have we have a PTM after every term. Term wise PTM is after every unit. After completing every unit, we have the PTM, where the teacher will give the feedback of the students, where the students are, and after that every term we have the performance report, and then we have portfolio, where the students and teacher will collect the worksheets and share at the end of the term. Ma'am, I just want you to add about, ma'am, sorry, for assessment, can you please add about the authentic assessment, ma'am, that parents are aware? Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I think parents, thank you, Amina. I would like to bring to your notice that during pandemic and online teaching, uh, evaluating students authentically has been a challenge for the teachers, because we've often found that parents are sitting along with them and they are prompting and they're giving the answers, so they're writing, and then we are not sure whether it's a student's work or the teacher's work, the parents' work, and then the assessment is camouflage. So at this point of time, I would really request all the parents, you are not doing any benefit to the students by doing work for them. Please let them work independently during the online classes and during the assessments as well, so that we understand where the students stand and how much of support is required, and we can help the students move to the next level. Because otherwise, we have no clear picture of the understanding, and then the student just goes on with the year. So, one request to all the parents, kindly let the students do the assessment. And our reports are more focused on the formative assessments, like what the child has done throughout the year, than focusing entirely on the summative assessment. So that's one thing that I would like to bring to you. Thank you, Ms. Amina. And now we're over to Ms. Khurshid, who will take you through the essential agreements of teaching and learning. Ms. Khurshid.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. My name is Khurshid Begum, and I'm class 4TL. I would like to take you through the essential agreements. In a PYP school, every working group starts off by creating an essential agreement. Essential agreement are the rules which we follow in our classroom. This means that rather than teachers imposing rules, everyone works collaboratively to establish an agreement of how the class will function. Each teacher works with their students to develop their own set of agreements at the beginning of the school year. The essential agreements define what it means to be safe, be respectful, and be responsible. Some of the essential agreements that a student should follow are as follows. You always need to be punctual, wake up early, and make sure you're well dressed with neatly combed hairs and have a good appearance. Many a times we have observed that the students just wake up from their sleep 5 minutes before the class begins, and their appearance is very shabby. The hairs are not combed. They don't even, some students don't even, brush the teeth. They just come and sit in front of the class. So please make sure that they are well dressed and always on time. Follow the given timetable and log into class 10 minutes earlier than the scheduled time. Make sure you're logged in through your email account. Be well prepared beforehand. Make sure your devices are charged and all the materials required, like the stationery, pens, books, etc., are ready and accessible. It is very important that you find a quiet place without distraction. It has been observed that the students are distracted due to background noise, which may
Sorry,
be of TV or radio.
sorry, 1 minute, Khushi.
Yeah, yeah. The previous slide, ma'am. Yes. Check for proper lighting and background. You need to make sure you're seated in a well lighted place. During the face-to-face class, the camera needs to be always on. Make sure you're in the camera view and please blur the background. This is to avoid distractions and elements that we don't want others to see or be embarrassed about. Dress up appropriately and sit up straight and proper. Ma'am, the next slide. When communicating in the classroom, be respectful of your words, action, and content. Always use English language as a medium of communication. Finish off your breakfast and basic needs before the session begins. We have observed students eating food in front of the camera or behind the camera, and this looks very unprofessional, so please refrain from doing it. Keep your camera on and mute yourself when a teacher or other student is talking. Use raise your hand icon when you want to communicate. You need to wait for the teacher to call out or unmute. You need to actively participate and be super focused and take part in all classroom discussions. You can also use the chat box to ask a question or convey a message during a face-to-face class. Bana ma'am, I would like you to add about the contact timings for the teacher.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Khurshid. And I would just like to add at this point of time that, it's very important that the lines of communication between the parents and the teachers are always open. And we welcome all your suggestions. We try to resolve all your concerns. But kindly, I would request all parents to be mindful of the time that you get in touch with the teachers. There will be a help desk. I will share that number also with you. But it's very important that you learn to value your time and others' time as well, because all of us have families that need to be catered to. So we would appreciate if all calls are made between 9 to 5 in case of any concern. If the teacher is going through a class, probably she may not be able to receive your call. So you can drop a message in the WhatsApp group. If after 5, if there is something urgent, please refrain from calling, but you can write a message, and when the teacher is free, she will get back to you. I repeat once again, kindly do not call or message teachers at odd hours, because we all have to understand that we have families to look into, and I'm sure we're all respectful adult individuals who will take this into heed, and it's for the benefit of both of us. But that should never stop you from contacting the teacher. Please do that between 9 to 5. You can send a message or you may email to the teacher as well. Thank you, Ms. Khurshid. You can proceed.
Yes.
Khurshid, you can take over.
This is a general. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. This is a general overview of what we expect of you to, when you're doing the Google Meet. So you always need to be on time for learning and find a quiet space when you can concentrate and pay attention. Please mute yourself and only unmute when you need to ask something or when the teacher gives you a permission to do so. You can use a chat box if you want to ask for a question or you want to convey something, and we would like full active participation. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Khurshid. And now, like I said, we've to help you all at all times. We've set up a help desk, and this is the help desk number that you can get in touch, and the person will help you to solve if it's any technical problem or you would like to fix an appointment with anyone. She would be the person whom you can go down. So I request everyone, it's there in your group as well. So all WhatsApp groups have this help desk number added. That's just for your information, and that's a person you need to contact to in case of any technical difficulties. I would like to now talk a little about the study material. The study material list has been mailed to everyone, and for the new parents, I will be doing it very shortly. The study material list consists of some links that we've realized that there's a lot of screen time that's happening because if the students have to submit their work on Toddle and work on online all the time, that's not very good for their eyes either. So we've introduced certain workbooks and handwriting books for students to practice on. So we've got workbook for English and math, and these are workbooks from Oxford. Then we have the Hindi or Urdu handwriting book, the Telugu handwriting book, and the English cursive handwriting book. Now the English and math workbooks, when you have received your study material, there are respective links. If you click on the link, you need to order for the workbook. And for those of you all who've already placed the order, I just spoke to the concerned person before the start of the session. And he said because of the pandemic, things have got delayed a little. Hopefully by late end of this week or early next week, you will be getting all the workbooks. They will be delivered to your doorstep. But because there has been a slight delay, teachers will be uploading the textbook page and the task sheet, the workbook page, and the worksheets on Toddle for this year, for this month, till the end of the month, till June end. And then July, hopefully all students should have their workbooks. There is a slight delay in the handwriting books as well, the cursive handwriting books, because again, I hope you understand, because of the pandemic, their transport is not easily available. There is problem with interstate transportation, and that's why we have these small hiccups coming up. But by the end of June, hopefully everything will fall into place, and we will be able to function smoothly and effectively starting from July. But nevertheless, teachers will upload all the tasks on Toddle, and you need to do that. And we'll have a run through of how to do the Toddle also shortly in this session. The teachers will take you through that. Now the timetable, Ms. Ramya, would you like to go through the timetable, please? Thank you.
Good morning, parents. I'm Ramya. I'm an ICT teacher. Basically, we planned for 6 periods. In 6 periods, we have 3 live lessons where the children have to have a video conferences classes like face-to-face classes. The other 3 classes, we will give a work task to them. I request parents to please join. Make sure that your students must and should attain circle time by 9 to 9:15. This is a very important class where students will learn all the activities done by teachers, and they'll refresh early in the morning. After that, it's easier for the children to be active in the class. Right? Our first hour will start from 9:15 to 10:15. The timetable, individual class timetable, will be shared by the class teachers. So these are the timings of our school. It is going to start from 9 to, and it ends at 4. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ramya. So I would just like to add over here that the assembly or the circle time that starts at 9 o'clock is very, very crucial for the teacher and the students to develop a bonding with the teacher and their peers. So please, although it's not, there will be a lot of teaching and learning that will happen during the circle time as well. So do not consider it as an add-on period, and attendance in this period is mandatory. We're going to mark class-wise attendance, so make sure you attend all the classes. And we realized that 2 periods that we had last year were not enough. So we've increased it to 3 face-to-face classes per day, and the other 3 classes we will assign, we will avoid the screen time, and we'll assign some tasks from the textbook or the worksheet that the students need to work on. Okay. So that's the schedule, tentative. The class-wise schedule will be shared with you by the respective class teachers latest by tomorrow. It's already ready, and it will be shared along with the live lesson links. So I request once again that teachers will not admit anyone outside the Focus ID. So please log in only through the Focus ID when you are getting into the live lessons. Thank you very much. And now I request Ms. Atya to take you through Toddle. Ms. Atya.
Thank you, Sharbana ma'am, and good morning to everyone. So here we are looking at Toddle. So since last year, we've been using a platform that has been helping us to meaningfully engage students and track their learning journey. And Toddle has been very helpful when we assign tasks to students, and also it was very helpful when students were able to submit their task back to us. Okay, so when you log into Toddle, you just have to type in web.toddleapp.com and it'll take you to their homepage. So this is what their homepage looks like. So it will ask you to log in through a teacher's account, a student account, or a family account. And once the students are added on Toddle, which is done by the coordinator, once she adds all the students to the Toddle, you will get a login code. So students normally will get a login code for the student account. So you will have to click in student, sign in as student, and it will ask you to submit, enter your Toddle student account over here. It normally starts with an S and a T, and the code would be alphanumeric. It will have a number or a few letters in it, like SQ149 or something like that. So after you hit submit, it'll take you to this next page, and your the class that your child is enrolled on will be visible on the screen. So the announcement, classroom to-do tasks, and the calendar tasks that you see above, those will come back later on. So here you can see that your child's classroom is visible to you. So you will have to click that classroom tab. So after you click the classroom tab, it will take you to this page. The left-hand corner, there is a toggle bar over there. When you go to classroom, it will show you all the tasks or the subjects that are listed on your right. And then, yes, so this is how it will look. You will have all the topics in order. You can see all the topics like art, English, Hindi, and all the topics in your left-hand side. Once you go and click that subject, all the tasks that are assigned in that folder will be visible to you on the right-hand side. So as you can see here, Hindi was clicked, but if you click on English, it will take you to the next page. Yes. So, yes. So you will have 3 tabs on the top. That is one with instruction, the next with the classroom discussion, and the third with the response. So in the instructions tab, you can clearly read the instructions that were written and guided by the teacher. So the teacher might add a voice note, clearly telling or clearly dictating the instructions to you, or she might give you a written task like this. And then once you've understood the task and once you've completed the task in your notebook, you will have to submit your response. So when you go to the response tab, it will ask you to add your work. So you will have to take a clear picture of your work. Make sure that the lighting is proper when you're clicking the picture, and also make sure that the work is clearly visible. It is taken from an angle where all the letters are visible and there's no glare on the picture. So when you click add work, it'll take you to the next page. So it's going to ask you if your work is in a form of a photo, a voice message, a video, a file. It can be a presentation, it can be a document file, or if it's a web link. Sometimes teachers give quizzes as homework. So you can either, insert a screenshot of your final result, or you can add a link of your final result. So supposingly you choose a photo or a file, it'll take you to the next page like this. Okay, so this is what your screen is going to look when you add a picture or a file. And once you have added and attached the file, it'll ask you to add to work. So when you add work, the most important step here is to turn in submission. You have to make sure that you're clicking turn in submission. After you click turn in submission, okay, your work will be submitted. If you forget to turn in submission, your teacher will not get the work, and your teacher will not be able to view your work, and it will still say that your work is pending. So please make sure you're clicking that turn in submission button at the top right corner. Okay, so let's look at what it looks on the mobile phone. So we've been looking at what Toddle looks like on the web platform, and this is what Toddle looks like on your mobile phone. So when you go to the Play Store in your Android device or to the App Store in your Apple device, these are what your icons will look like. The Toddle Educator application will be in red. The student will be in teal color, and Family app will be in a bright bluer color. So you will have to download the student and the family app. So when you download the student app, it's going to ask you for the student code again. After you enter the student code, the first screenshot you see over here, this is what it will look like. So if your child is enrolled, whichever class your child is enrolled in will be visible. And again, you will have 3 tabs at the bottom: the journal, the classroom, and the evaluations. The journal tab will show you all the work where your teacher has tagged you in. If your teacher is looking for a specific learner profile or a concept or a skill, and your work was clearly depicting that skill or concept that your teacher has assigned, she will tag you for that work. So all those tags and all the students, your classmates that were tagged, will appear under the journal tab. In the classroom tab, you can see in the rightmost corner, it's going to show you all the tasks that have been scheduled. All the tasks that have been scheduled will show in the classroom tab. Okay, so over to the next, when you move on to the next page. Okay, so you have an option to filter your searches by subjects. So you will have to, you can see more over there. So when you click the filter tab, ma'am, if you can go to the previous slide. Yes, in the top right corner, you see a filter symbol that is highlighted in a green circle. So that is a filter symbol. And when you filter it, when you click that icon, it will take you to the next page. Yes, it's going to ask you which subject work are you looking for. Okay, so it'll either filter you by a subject or it'll either filter you by status. So you can see more over there. When you click that see more, it's going to give you a list of subjects that are assigned and that needs to be completed. So if you click on any subjects, for example, I've clicked on English, it's going to take you to that same page again where instruction, class discussion, and response will be given. If you read the instructions, you will have all the instructions written clearly over there. You will have to follow the instructions and complete your work either in the notebook or on a web page, whatever the teacher is asking you to do. After you've completed your work, the next steps are pretty much the same. You will have to submit a response. You will add an attachment. It will ask you to in the form of a photo collage, a video, a link, a file, So if you are clicking on a photo, so it'll take you to your gallery. And in your gallery, you can select a number of files. If your work is spilling over 2 or 3 images, you can select all those 2 and 3 images. And on the next, you will have to just click next. So after you click next, it's going to show you all the number of files that you have chosen. So accidentally, if you just, click a file that is not needed, in this step, you can delete that file out. So it will ask you to cross-check the number of files that you have chosen, and then you will just click add. After you add, your work is uploaded, and then again, most importantly, you will have to turn in submission here. After you turn in submission, your class teacher will get your work. In the final picture, you can see that this is a screenshot of the family application. So in the Toddle family application, when you download the Toddle family application on your phone, it will notify you for all the journal or any announcement, or if there's a progress report that's generated. So you will get notified through your family application, family app, for all these details on announcements or whatever the teacher has announced or added up. Now, we've been using Toddle in the past year, and if you have had any experience with Toddle, we would like to get your feedback, a very short analysis of your experience using feedback. So I'm going to paste this in the chat box. So I want you all to please click that link and add your feedback, add your comments on the Padlet that's shared with you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Satya.
You're welcome, ma'am.
And now the next session that I will be running through with you all is the attendance. Attendance is very, very crucial. It's the minimum attendance that we expect at Focus School is 85%. And the promotion of the student attendance will be a very important criteria for the to decide on the promotion of your child. So make sure the child is regular to class. We're going to take subject-wise attendance, so it's not like, the child attends one subject per day and the rest two the child misses, because that will not add up to and give the proper picture of the child's attendance. So attendance, timely attendance, the child needs to be punctual. Please do not log in late and then, disturb the teacher. Man, can you repeat what you just said? I'm sorry, the teacher is not going to do that. So make sure you're there 5-10 minutes before the start of the class and you're regular to the class. In case if you have any planned leave, God forbid, if there's something that's gone wrong, you have some appointment with the doctor or whatever, it's very, very crucial that you drop a mail to the teacher or WhatsApp the teacher. And if the child is sick, then you need to provide a medical certificate, and only then will the child be marked condoned. So that will not, once a child is marked condoned, it will not impact the the percentage of the attendance. So if the child is sick and you provide the evidence, then the child is marked condoned. In case of any unplanned leaves, please again report it to the teacher. Of course, it will be marked absent, but at least the teacher knows what the scene is like. And in case if the attendance, the child is absent for more than 3 days, then you will get a notification on the family app that your child has not been attending. Sometimes what happens is you think the child is there and the child is there on the screen, but when we're asking questions, the child is not responding, kali on karke chale gaye. In that case, we will not mark the child present. The child needs to be participating in the class in order to be marked present. Otherwise, there's no point. If the child is not responding, the teacher keeps asking repeatedly, but there's no response from the other end. That means that he's only logged in and the child is gone out. So in that case, we mark the child absent. So that's the status of the attendance. Of course, 100% is the ideal attendance, but I understand that there will be some times when this is not practical. So at least, like I said, 85% is what we target. And anything that's less than 65 will be a cause of worry and will be a very, very crucial factor in deciding for promotion for the next year. And now I take over, we move on to task submission. Ms. Arshia Mariam will take you through submission of tasks and how we track that and what is the expectation. Ms. Arshia Mariam, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. I'm Ms. Ashia Mariam, team leader in math, and I would be teaching class 4 and 5 math. Okay, task submissions plays an important role for the child's education. Even last year, we have been focusing more on the task submission as well. So to make it easier, let the child complete his task as soon as he finishes his face-to-face class. This not only helps him to complete his task, but also let him recollect what they have learned during the face-to-face class. Next slide, ma'am. Okay, tasks will be assigned to the student in 3 ways. One is the total task, the second is the workbook task, and the third is the worksheet task. Total task will be assigned by the teacher and it need to be done in the classwork and it should be uploaded back on Toddle. Okay, it will be an online task. Workbook task and worksheet task should be collected from the school every Monday. So basically, 1 week we would be giving a workbook task. Page numbers will be given on Toddle again. So the students' parents or someone from the student side should come physically to the school, collect the workbook, complete the task during the week, and submit it back again the next Monday. So every Monday the task will be given. So when you're returning your workbook for correction, you can just pick up your worksheets for that week. I say it again, workbook tasks and worksheet tasks should be collected from the school physically and submitted back to school every Monday for correction physically. It cannot be uploaded on Toddle. Ma'am, next slide. So the school will share every month. The school shares a monthly engagement report in which you will be able to know how many tasks have you completed during the term. And I request that please help or guide. I'm repeating, help or guide your child. Sit with your child to understand the task. Don't just leave them to complete it. And here, when I say help and guide, it doesn't mean that you complete your child's task thinking that he would lag behind in task engagement. So do not encourage your child by completing the task by yourself or the parents or siblings, elder siblings completing it. Let him do it during the week. We don't just ask you all to submit it then and there or the same day, but we give time a week. But if the task submissions are submitted after the deadline, it will not be considered. That means after a week, if you are submitting your task will not be considered, and the percentage of task completion will be recorded, and definitely it will be considered for promotions. If your task submission, the percentage is low, it will definitely reflect on your promotions. That's it from my side, ma'am.
Thank you, Arshia. And now Ms. Mumtaz will take you through the remedial counseling session that we offer at Focus School. Over to you, Ms. Mumtaz. Ms. Mumtaz, are you there?
No, ma'am, I think she's not there.
Okay, so I will run through this. Basically, at Focus School, we offer the SEN and the counseling session. Now, SEN is the the special need, education need, which we offer to students who've got certain learning issues, backlogs in their learning. And we also help the students with emotional and behavioral issues. It helps the students to build their self-esteem, confidence, and personality. And remedial support will be provided to all the conditional admission students, and it will be once a week, and it will be add-on to the already scheduled timetable. Now, so this will take the child from where, based, so the child will be assessed, and then based on their learning levels, the SEN teacher will then take the child further from there. So this is how it is structured. First, the teacher will fill in, the teacher will identify if the child has any learning gaps or behavioral issues. She will fill in the online counseling form, and only if the parents agree and give their consent will the child be enrolled in the special education needs session. And there will be assessments that the counselor will do, categorized into different categories. So we've got A, B, C, depending on the severity of the learning gaps that the child shows. I repeat, this is not for all students. This is only helping and supporting students who have some major learning gaps. Then assessment report and the IEP will be shared to the teachers and the parents. And also the term end report will be generated for the SEN students. And this is additional support. And please, I request all parents to help the child attend this if the child requires to grow to the next level and bridging the learning gaps. Thank you. And now we've got Circle Assembly, which starts at 9 o'clock, which is very, very crucial. And Ms. Amina Ara Imran will take you through that. Over to you, Ms. Amina. Ms. Amina.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Sharman. Hello, everyone, and I am Amina Ara Imran, Assistant Primary Years Program Coordinator, and I will talk to you regarding the importance of morning assembly and circle time. Well, circle time is an amazing concept that can really put fun into learning. It helps to promote learning in all areas and also aid to develop positive relationships between children. It aims to give them tools that support, engages, and provides students with lots of other benefits. It is often used as an opportunity yes, that
Amina, your voice is breaking. It's not audible.
Yes. Thank you for this slide, Mr. Banu. Now, why is circle time? Why do you think is circle time important? It is circle time is one.
Sorry, the
The
small
previous slide,
disturbance.
Mr. Banu.
Are we clear? Can you hear us clearly?
We can hear you, ma'am, but Amina ma'am was
Are
not
we
very
No, I'm not
audible.
speaking.
One
Ati,
minute,
I'm not
Amina.
speaking.
All right, sure. Yes, ma'am. Sharbanu ma'am, you're audible. You're very
Amina, we
loud and
can't
clear.
hear.
No, I'm not
Am I
speaking.
audible?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
audible.
Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Banu, the previous slide, please. Mr. Banu, the previous slide. The importance of circle time.
I am on that
No.
slide.
Before this. Before this.
Before that, Amina.
The importance of circle time. Okay, well, I'll just speak about it. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it is. Circle time is one of the things that our children really look forward to it. This is because it is the best time for them to get a sense of community with other kids of the same age and also enhance their social skills. Not only that, through circle time, the attention spans also develop. It encourages them and gives them a sense of unity, respect, turn taking, and working together. Circle time helps children to actually develop the five major skills without which the circle time doesn't work. And they are the thinking, the listening, looking, speaking, and concentrating. Teachers will start the day either with circle time or morning assembly. This will allow the children to get settled and be ready for the day, which includes the topics and the activities that follows. Circle time and morning assembly is a wonderful start to their day. Assembly is a very important part of school culture. It helps to build a culture of communication and representation of academic and co-curricular activities. It facilitates and boosts the confidence in children and gives them a lot of energy to do well throughout the day. In the current virtual scenario, this year we are planning to have the morning assembly. Dear parents, please ensure that your child is present so that they don't miss out. The assembly will usually consist of activities like prayer, thought for the day, news, amazing concepts, animal facts, quizzes, and student talks on famous personalities. Now, what you look here on the screen is some glimpses of what we used to.
हेलो।
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ, सबको सुनाई नहीं दे रहा है ना कि मेरे को ही नहीं दे रहा है?
No, ma'am
No, ma'am,
left the meeting.
that
Ma'am,
would
we
be
get issue, ma'am. She's just joining. Give me a minute. Ma'am.
ओके फाइन।
Miss Ramya, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I will just share my screen.
Yes, please, ma'am. Okay.
I request Ms. Asma to take over from here. Ms. Asma is a librarian and she will talk about library policy and borrowing and reading procedures. Ms. Asma?
Ma'am, please share your screen now, ma'am. We are unable to see your screen.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, just give me a minute. Ms. Asma, you're good to go.
Yes, ma'am.
You can start. Ms.
Good
Asma?
afternoon. Yes, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah, a little louder, please.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Asma Fatima, PYP librarian and HOD. Focus School Library to support all educational programs going on at school, to inculcate reading habits across all the grade levels, and to
Asma,
provide
can you
work.
be a little louder, please?
Yeah, just a second, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Asma Fatima, PYP librarian and HOD. Focus School Library, just I want to talk about the Focus School Library. The library is to support all the educational program at school, to inculcate reading habits across the grade levels, to use the books for the inquiry or the research work as given to the students. Please, ma'am, can you change the slide? Here. Now, let me take you to the borrowing procedure during the virtual time. Okay. So, students can borrow the book from the library as per the schedule shared by the teacher. Okay. The time and the date, the teachers will share with you all, and you can go through that schedule and you can come to the library and you can borrow the book. But please make sure that you have to return the book within a week. And if you want to continue the book, you have to update the librarian via message or via mail that you're going to continue this book for a week. Or else if you fail to do this, the fine will be imposed. For an example, let me tell you, if you have to return the book on 5th and you fail to do so, you have to update the librarian via message or via mail that you're going to continue this book for a week. And if you fail to return the book on 5th, the fine of 10 will be imposed on 6th. Then it will continue for 7th, 20, then 30, then 40, then 50. And if you fail to update for a month, then that book will consider as lost and the whole book amount will be deducted from the student's interest amount. Let me tell you, if you fail to update about the book to the librarian and for a month, if you fail to return the book to the library without any intimation, the whole book amount, whatever but the book amount will be, that whole book amount will be debited from the student's interest amount. Ma'am, can you change the slide? As you all know, we are learning virtually. So last year we have created a virtual library. So let me take you to the virtual library. Or walk through the virtual library. Ma'am, can you click the link? Here you can see the 3 pages over here, the teacher's reference page, student's reference, and the parent's reference. If you click on the student's reference, it will take you to the student's reference, and you can see there's a subtitles, inquiry resources. Here, this page will take you to the inquiry resources where students can do all the inquiry. By clicking on the images, you will get all the inquiry you will require for the inquiry. Okay, whatever the inquiry teachers are giving, whether about the biographies, whether about the inquiry about the wildlife, whether about the world information, whatever information you want to take, you can go through the inquiry resources and you can collect it. Here are the next page is for the video stories on the moral values. You can see there are the videos for the moral values on this page. These are all the videos and the stories of the moral values. You can see it with a small description. Then on the next page, we have a read along books, okay, that students can read out. Students can read along with the book, and they can watch the video, and even they can do the and they can do the reading with these books. And the next, as you all know, we have the learner profile attributes. So even these books are added in this. Open-minded books, you can see, courageous books, inquirer books, and all the learner profile books you can see on this page. Then we have, as we are doing the author study and the novel study for the classes, so you can see we have the authors page in the virtual library where all the children's author information is present over here. Even you can refer this page for the author's information. And then we have a learning with stories book in which we have all the learnings. If you we have author books over here that Brochi Ladybug, you can see all these books. Then we have stories of Eric Carle. You can see that as class 2 was doing the Eric Carle last year author study, and those are all the books that are available in our virtual library. You all can see that. Okay, then guided reading books. We have a guided reading books also. And then the famous story books. We have a lot of resources for the reading. As you can see, this virtual library contains a lot of story books. You can see over here, this is for to inculcate the reading habits among the students during the virtual time. I request all the parents to please use the virtual library. Even you can see the sustainable goal page. We are working on this. We have a sustainable goal books also over here. So I request all the parents, if you want to refer this library, you have to use the student's ID. You have to log in with the student's ID. If you're not going to use the student's ID, sorry, you can't able to log in this page. For using the virtual library of Focus School, you have to log in with the student's ID then only. And even last year, we have added the page of student parents reference page. Parents reference page. So you can see that we have a school policies. Ma'am, yeah. You can see that we have a PYP assessment policy, we have an academic integrity policy, we have a language policy, we have a counseling and the SEND policy, we have the library policy, we have the ICT policy. So parents, you can refer these policies. So you will come to know about the ICT policy, what is the library policy, what is the language policy, all the policies, what is the procedure of all the policies. You will come to know about all the things. And now we have added even the program of inquiry. Okay, so you will come to know that throughout the year, your child is going through the which unit, the first unit, which unit is going on, and next the which unit will be there, and what is the central idea for this, what is the learner profile we are using, what is the theme, what is the title. You will get whole information in the POI. It's there. This page is available on the parents reference. You can see this. And then we have the curriculum map, a whole year planning over here. You can see the planning, that what activities and what are the things that teachers are going to plan and what's going to happen in the students' curriculum. So these are the things available in the virtual library for the parents and all the students. I request all the parents to please use the virtual library, but make sure that you have to use it with the student ID. Thank you. I hope I was quite clear to you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Asma. So for any queries that you have, I would request, sorry. I would request parents to fill in this form and we will take you through any queries that you have, you can fill in this form and you can post it. I'm sharing the link in the chat box. Please click on any queries and we'll get back to you. This is for the queries, the request form. And then I'm also going to share all the class-wise orientation links. So I request parents to now join in to the respective class link, and the class teachers will then take you through the session, which is going to be brief for about half an hour, and they will take you through the curriculum overview that is required. So here you can see we have all the links to different groups. You can copy paste this and you can go to your respective class links. If you belong to class 1, just click on that to copy paste class 2, class 3, 4 and 5. I request all the parents to join in the respective link, and class teachers will then take you through the sessions. Thank you very much for your valuable time that you've offered, and we are sorry for the small glitch that happened, but that's what technology is. Along with its strengths, there are some challenges that we need to face, so we apologize for that. I request parents now to move on to the respective links, and teachers, you can go on and join there. Thank you very much once again. Question and answers, sir, you have it. I shared the link. You can please put in your queries over there and we'll get back to you. Thank you once again. Please join in the respective links.